Greetings, everyone. This is Neo Cosmos. I know it's been a little minute. It's been a while. There's been a message that I wanted to share for over the past couple of weeks, but I wanted to just carefully assess through it, through my heart space, through time, and I want this to be an all-inclusive conversation. I want this to be something that should be kept in mind for everyone that's watching um, this video in particular, because this is something that I feel that needs to be discussed and talked about. Uh, because at the end of the day, um, we are not given an opportunity uh, to what I mean by we as men, we're not given an opportunity to be vulnerable and express ourselves naturally based on traumas and also certain customs that bestow certain type of um, toxic traits, if you will, onto us in order to fit in the status quo of being a man, so to speak. Um, Also, in aggregate of that, there's a lot of men out here that are on path that at times feel like they don't have the opportunity to uh, talk about certain traumas that they've experienced in a safe space to where they could release that and we could all come together and share our stories and talk about information, talk about our own personal um, downloads that we received based on our healing, based the testimonies and revelations that we've experienced based on the self work that we've done, and sharing that story and letting everybody else see that, hey, you're not alone in this. Like, there's other people out here that experience the same exact thing as you, that may or may not look like you, but that's what brings us all together. Because sometimes someone that may not look like you may, in fact, experience the same type of trauma that you've experienced. And however he overcome that situation and healed from that situation, that could be somewhat of a blueprint or an example for you to help you navigate through healing your heart space, healing all those blockages around your heart space that's preventing you from being creative, that's preventing you from speaking from your heart, that's preventing you from actually living your highest and greatest life. It's crazy how certain traumas that men experience in particular, I want to speak on us for a second, that we as men experience from the time that we haven't even had teeth growing in our mouth yet to this very moment that you're watching this video right now. There's a lot of experience, a lot of trauma, and a lot of experience that we don't deserve. There's certain there's certain there's certain chords that are created from there that a lot of us don't know how to cut, spiritually or metaphorically. The only way to do that is if you're patient enough and honest with yourself and you're actually able to see yourself as yourself unbiasedly. If you can confront the person that caused you this pain, caused you this particular trauma, that's when the healing begins. But it's continuous. You go through your phases. Even after you speak to the person, after you confronted the person, after you forgave the person, how would that look for you? Because that looks and sounds different for everybody else. No, it's not a formula that I could say that you should follow. Maybe that may not work for you, and I may not fit that particular circumstance, if you know what I mean. It comes from the lack of unity with us come from the traumas of being molested, the traumas of being called names and picked on and constantly being ostracized, either by kids in the neighborhood or people in your family. Having teachers in your neighborhood enable other kids in the class to laugh at you because you weren't paying attention in class, because you were in your imagination. You're a child, you're going to be tapped into your imagination. Having to grow up in a neighborhood where people hate themselves from based upon what other personalized traumas and experience that they've experienced, whatever trauma that whatever it looks like for them, and they projected it on all the kids, whether they're seeing their mother getting her ass beat by her boyfriend, not even their father, and they're watching that and they're internalizing that and suppressing that and then projecting that on other kids in the class. That's how the bullies come. That's how they show up too. We experienced certain situations that don't belong to us based on someone else's unhealed state. So a lot of the times we experience have nothing to do with us. We just so happen to be in the crossfire of it. High percentage of the time, and then another high percentage of that time, the people that you do confront, if you can confront them, most of the time they don't hold themselves accountable for it. Either they pretend and act like they don't remember it happening or it being said, or they'll pretend and lie as if it never happened or it wasn't said. But it's always important to hold them accountable is key. Holding that person accountable, irregardless. From kids in your class making fun of you, calling you a faggot because you speak a certain way, try to play you out because you have a certain talent because you're a kid that could draw. Some kids give you props, but most of the time is hate attached to it, because they've been cut off from their imagination based upon their parents abusing them, their family member abusing them, whether it's mental abuse or physical abuse or sexual abuse. I mean, we go through a whole bunch of different type of things growing up, like me, right? And a lot of the times, those type of traumas could detach us from the community. It detaches us from being in unity or wanting to be in unity. So you could have the ability to speak to a masses and bring people together. You could have the ability of obtaining so much knowledge and imparting that and breaking it down into a level or in words or in terms to where it's palatable for people to receive it and learn from it a lot easier versus reading a book. You may have the ability to do divination, whether that's through cards or through your intuitive gifts, through your heart space. You may be a necromancer, a medium. You could serve a service. You could sell it as a service and be accurate and do your missions in that kind of a manner, in that level. And not need for that attachment to a corporation that limits you from utilizing your imagination, utilizing your gifts, all those things. But if you are lacking the time to heal yourself, you whatever practitioner you as a practitioner that you are, if you're not healing, it's going to be harder for you to not only ascend and excel in your gifts, but the lack of unity within your community on your part is going to be lacking as well. It's important to impart that unity and bringing forth that union amongst the people and sharing your story, whatever story that you feel comfortable to share, to also impart that healing aspect. Because the more of us that heal, especially right now, the more of us that confront on certain things and surrender to the key word, surrender to the fact that, hey, in order for you to reach this particular level within your life, whatever that may be, this has got to get out of your way. You got to get this out of the way. The only way that that gets out of your way is confronting it. Because all you're doing is just hiding behind. You're hiding behind it. That cord is latching onto you. You can't move because that cord can't get no further. It has a certain length. Trauma has those type of cords where it latches onto you and you can't move. So you get frustrated and you project that pain and that aggravation on the other people, on other circumstances, everything else around you except for you. Because you feel like it happened so long ago, what's the point of confronting it? What's the point of talking about it now? It's very important to talk about it now. Because that thing could actually have your ass repeat back into another life down here. Why would you want that? We're lacking union. So I just wanted to mention that because this is something that I feel that needs to be done, and I feel that we could work together, and I'm always open and receptive of new ideas of how we could come together. And I understand I'm not in the U.S. anymore. I'm in Mexico, but I could always travel. I could always commiserate like some form of a plan to join in and do what needs to be done. But I feel that it was necessary to discuss. Doesn't matter how powerful you are, still gotta heal. And it's always important to share and impart your gifts for the betterment of the people, not the demise. That's the most important. Because it could also be taken away if you abuse it. That could happen too. It could also be taken away if you don't use it. Irregardless if you know about it or not. It could be taken away from you because you lack trust within yourself, knowledge within yourself, or the lack of wanting to know the knowledge within yourself. And it could be something detrimental to your mission, and you miss out. But I hope this video helps. I wanted to break the silence, and I wanted to talk about something that was very necessary. There's a lot of women that come together and come and heal one another and share their stories and share their traumas and cut those cords, not even cut those, destroy the cords. Because cutting the cords, sometimes it could latch and grow back. Especially if you're not doing the work to maintain it, it could grow back. The cords have to be destroyed by continuous work. It also by the help of your benevolent ancestors that have your highest and greatest good, as well as whoever is guiding and protecting you in spirit. So, but we'll be seeing each other very soon. I just wanted to say peace to y'all and wanted to impart this message. Ashe.